Hey, Chadi, Bazzi here, and welcome to another episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. This week, we're going to begin doing something that we've never done here before on the show. Many of you guys know I'm an avid reader who reads an average of at least one book each and every single week. And anytime and every time I'm recording a podcast episode or on a coaching call or in a training or in a deep personal development conversation, I'm always referencing books. And so obviously I'm big on reading. So one of the things I thought about doing differently, and I made a commitment to the members of my Listings on Demand training, is that I am going to personally read and review 10 books between now. We're recording this in November, between now and the end of 2019. So between now and so basically we got about 6-7 weeks left. You're going to get 10 book reviews, and they're pretty much only going to be made available to our loyal listeners here on the Top Listing Agent Show. So with that said, the first book I decided to review is Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. And actually, before we get into the actual, what I got out of the book, what I think you would get out of the book, etc., let's talk about the importance of reading. See, a very long time ago, someone told me that, the more, big readers are big leaders. Someone said to me, big learners are big earners. So obviously I wanted to become a leader and I wanted to become, a top earner. So I was like, okay, well then the more I read, the more I can, become a better leader and a better earner. So basically your input determines your output. Okay. So what are really the benefits of reading? Well, number one, more knowledge. Number two, more confidence. Number three, more focus. Number four, more action. Number five, better attitude. And number six, better results. So if you want more confidence, if you want more focus, and if you want better results, then guess what? Get into the reading. So this book that I read is 240 pages. It took me about 90 minutes to read the whole entire book. And I know some of you guys are thinking, oh my God, you read the whole entire book in 90 minutes. If I were to read a 240-page book, it'd probably take me 24 days to read it. So I think, I think, one of the reasons I'm able to read so quickly is because when I discovered a very long time ago that I definitely was going to use the books that I buy from Barnes & Noble, Amazon, etc., as my real education in life, because I never graduated from college, I had to learn how to read better. I had to learn how to read faster. I had to learn how to comprehend and how to retain more of what I read. So how to become a better reader so you can read faster, comprehend more, and retain more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a recommendation right now, and it's a course that I personally taken, but I'm going to give it a recommendation in terms of the book. And the book is called the 7-Day Speed Reading and Learning Program by Evelyn Woods. This is a course I took probably about 17, 18 years ago. And I was able to, more than quadruple my reading speed. And I know some of you guys are thinking is if you read that fast, how are you going to remember what you read? How are you going to understand what you read? Well, the crazy part is that the faster of a reader I became, the more I was able to comprehend and retain from the books I am reading. So I'm going to recommend that it doesn't matter what book you're reading right now. If you find yourself not reading fast enough, if you find yourself reading a page and then at the end of the page you're like, what the heck did I just read, and have to go back and read it again, then I'm going to recommend that you stop reading any books that you're reading right now. You pick up this book called the 7-Day Speed Reading and Learning Program by Evelyn Woods and take yourself through that training so you can become a better reader. So now the goal for each personal development book should be to generate a minimum of one new piece of knowledge. Once you begin learning and you totally commit to learning every book, you're just looking for one new piece, minimum one new piece. Not like, it's like, the book promises 10 strategies. Maybe all 10 strategies aren't, relevant to you, etc. Because even if you just get one thing out of it, this may be the one thing that you will need now or sometime in the future to be able to reach your goals. You see, most personal development books share the same exact concepts, the same exact strategies. The only thing that ever changes are the stories. So you ask yourself, if that is the case, do I need to read more than one book? And the answer is yes. Why? Because what you learn today may not be applicable for you to use today. It may be something that you need later on in life, and like everything else, you will forget about it. When you read often, even if you are reading the same principles over and over, you will begin to buy into them. You will begin to believe that yes, they will work for you. And like most things, we learn and we hear. We need to learn it more than once, and we need to hear it more than once before it totally sinks in. So make a commitment to read at least one book a month. Ideally, you should be reading like a book a week. But, if you read just one book a month, I'm happy. So this is the first book I review on a Top Listing Agent Show podcast. And what I want you to consider is that even if you read the same book as you will most likely get something completely different than what I got. So here we go. The author of the book is Dean Graziosi. You may be familiar with him as he is all over television running infomercials, teaching you how to invest in real estate. I remember the first time I seen his infomercial was probably about 25 years ago. This book is not about real estate, it is about personal development. The book is filled with good stories as he is a good storyteller. And here are some of the key takeaways that I noted to share with you as I feel they will help you take your life and your business to the next level. And in chapter 2, which is titled The Foundation for All Success, he speaks about how most people know more about what they don't want rather than what they do want. This is something that Earl Nightingale also speaks about in The Strangest Secret recording, which I also recommend that you listen to between now and the end of the year. He says that man, meaning man, woman, has no problem with achieving a goal. Man has a problem knowing which goal he wants to achieve. So Dean says in the next 7 days, what he wants you to do, his recommendation is go up to about 5 random strangers and ask them, hey, what don't you want out of life? What don't you want out of life? And they will answer it with crystal clarity. They know right there and then exactly what they don't want. But then he goes on to say, if you reverse the question and ask them what they do want out of life, they will pause before they answer. This means that they think more about what they don't want versus what they do want. Now, you think about it this way. Are there more successful people in the world or more average, living, middle class, below middle class people? Exactly. So you get what I'm talking about. So the takeaway for you should be to get crystal clear on what you want this year, next year, and beyond. When you have a vision for your future, all the action you begin to take will be to move you towards that vision. So with that said, make sure to write out your vision for at least the next 12 months. When you do this exercise, he points out the importance of digging very deep. Keep asking yourself the why question. Why do I want this? Or, why is that important? Or why do I want that, etc. Try to go 7 levels deep. Look, if you need help with that, I would love to help you out. Simply go to TLAstrategycall.com and book a time to receive a complimentary strategy session from me so I can help you become a top listing agent. So let's keep moving on. He also points out the importance of working on your strength, not your weaknesses. See, most people focus on building their weaknesses as they feel that it is their weakness that stops them from taking action. Example, you may have a weakness in the area of handling objections. So what do? You think to yourself that until you build up that weakness, you should not take action. So guess what? You don't. Make a list right now of all your strength and double down on those things. Well, of course, making time to work on eliminating these weaknesses. Okay, whatever you are already good at, he says, get amazing at it. An example would be if you are only converting 75% of the leads you work with, get amazing at lead follow-up and get amazing at lead conversion. So you take that up to 80% or 90%, etc. Next, he talks about your inner circle. You heard it before, the saying that you are the average of the 5 people who are closest to you. He says you need to surround yourself with those who are moving in life in the direction you want to go. If you hang out with people who don't work out and eat fast food every day, you will naturally adopt these habits without you even knowing it until it is too late. If you hang out with people who are setting goals, working out and prospecting every single day, then guess what? You will sooner than later begin to pick up on those habits. So I agree with this, and that is why I created the Listings on Demand community and gave up one-on-one coaching. I saw the power in community where like-minded people come together and talk about what is working and openly share it with others. It's also a safe place where you can be vulnerable and ask for help, and usually everyone jumps in and helps out. If you are curious to find out about this community, simply reach out and speak to us. So, you can go to, again, tlastrategycall.com and book a time to get a complimentary strategy session. And if we feel like you're a fit, we will gladly invite you to be a part of the LOD family. Now, one big takeaway that I feel should be a big takeaway, for you from the book was also the fact that we all have a story. Dean says that we at one point in our life made up a story of why we can't have what we want. Like it is hard. Like it works for others, but it won't work for me. Like I am not good enough. I am not tall enough. I have an accent, etc. And then what happens is you buy into the story, which means this becomes your belief system. And we all act and behave congruent to that which we believe. If we believe we are good, we act that way. And if we believe we are not good enough, then we get stuck. You get the point. So the suggestion is that you take time out now and write out your old story. Why are you where you are at right now versus where you thought you would be by the time you got to be whatever age you are today? Then rewrite the story. Delete all the negative beliefs and replace them with strong, empowering beliefs. It's time to write a new story. It's time for a new you. It's time for a better you. It's time for a happier you. Another biggie was the magic list. He said to create a list of all the things you do, he said make a list of all the things you enjoy to do. And of course, make a list of all the things you are good at. And that each day you spend most of your time working on these items. Okay, I'm about to move a little quicker now so we can wrap this up. And, then I will give you my 2 cents on the book. There's also a chapter on attraction and persuasion, which is like a must read for every single person. And I believe he could have gone a little bit, he could have spoken a little bit more about that. But then that's a topic in itself, which, you need to read multiple books on the topic of attraction and persuasion to totally understand it. Okay. However, I'm going to say this as a real estate coach and trainer. It is critically important to master the art of attraction and persuasion, especially if you are a real estate agent. And I'm assuming if you're listening to the Top Listing Agent Show, you're someone who wants to take listings, become a top listing agent, and have a successful, thriving real estate business. So key points here are the following. 1, he says, transparency and trust always win. He says, scarcity mindsets don't sell. He says, sell people what they want. He says, strive for relationships, not transactions. I can expand on those points, but I just want to give you the points. You get the idea. The whole entire review is all about you taking a couple of nuggets away from it and then deciding on whether it's something that you want to dive deeper into, etc. And then 187 pages into the book is where he gives you the list of happiness habits, and they are, he says, happiness habit number 1, define what happiness looks like and feels to you. Guys, this is a critical point, and I'm so glad that he actually put that in there, because there's an exercise that I've given to a countless number of the one-on-one coaching clients that I've worked with from all over the country, and I said, hey, make a list of what makes you happy, and in any moment you just don't feel happy and you feel totally out of it, just go to that list, because that's your prescription, that's your solution. Number 2, he said, make the present your friend. See, a lot of us, we are spending way too much time thinking about the past or thinking about the future, that we forget about what it is that we ought to be doing right now in the present. Number 3, he said, stop overthinking. Number 4, focus on the positive outcome. Number 5, big one. Number 5, let go of specific outcomes. See, sometimes what we want is for example, let's say you want an outcome of you want the outcome to be $100,000 in income this year. And then, you try to create a plan for that. And the plan looks like, you got to do 10 deals. And then, we're 9 months into the year and you've only done 10. And you've only done, let's say, for example, 5. You need 5 more to go. You ain't going to get the 5. Then all of a sudden you get yourself 2 big deals. So you finish off the year by doing 7 transactions, not 10 transactions, but you earned $100,000. That's the key point right here. Number 6, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. And you know what I always say? There's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. Number 7, let go of grudges. Number 8, be grateful for what is in front of you. Which if you are doing my journaling process every single day, you know that I ask you to write down 2 things that you are grateful for each and every single day. Like, for example, you can hear the airplane sound in the background because I'm recording this outside on a swimming pool for you right now. Okay. So you can hear that. And, somebody would be like, they would be complaining about the airplane noise in the background. No, I'm grateful that there's an airplane flying right above my head as I'm recording this because I could hear the airplane. Wow. I'm grateful for, my senses of hearing, for me to have ears, etc. Number 9, don't settle for good enough. Guys, I think a lot of you guys have already settled for good enough. Do not settle for good enough. You are good enough. Number 10, be a part of something bigger. So that's the 10 happiness habits, and we've gone through all 10. Okay, friends, here's the bottom line. Should you read this book? Yes, I am going to recommend it. I am personally happy I read it. You will be too. So as we wrap up, I want you to tell me, did you get something out of this book review? This is the first of 10 that I committed to do before the end of this year. Would you like me to keep doing them? Let me know. Send me a message. Leave us a review on iTunes. I value your feedback and your input. And I'm 100% committed to help you become a top listing agent. That is why we are now offering free strategy sessions to anyone who is ready to level up. When you are ready, maybe you're not ready right now, but when you are ready, simply go to tlastrategycall.com and book a time to speak to me. We will get on the phone for about 45 minutes. I will help you dissect your business, find out where you are stuck, and we'll give you a mini plan to get you unstuck and start getting some new leads right away. Thank you very much for being a loyal listener to the Top Listing Agent Show. I'll see you on the next episode. Take care. Take care.